Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Abe Layden. I'm chairman of the Board of County Commissioners. I'm pleased and honored to be joined by our vice chair, Commissioner George Teal, and our newest commissioner, former Senator Kevin Van Winkle, and so many distinguished leaders that really uphold the pedigree of what Douglas County is today. Ladies and gentlemen, neighbors, friends, and fellow Coloradans, today is an important day for our county. It's a day when we declare with one voice that we will no longer sit back while the state government dictates policies that undermine our values, jeopardize our safety, and make it harder for hardworking families to afford to live and thrive here. We love this county. We love this state. We love our country. But the policies coming out of Denver do not reflect the reality of life in our communities. They do not reflect the concerns of small business owners, of ranchers and farmers, of parents raising their children with the expectation that law and order should be respected, that property ownership should be protected, and that government should be a partner in prosperity, not an obstacle. For too long, we have watched as reckless state policies have made Colorado less safe, less affordable, and less free. We have seen so-called criminal justice reforms that prioritize criminals over victims. We have seen a crisis of homelessness escalate because the state enables rather than addresses the root causes. We have seen immigration policies that ignore the strain on our schools, hospitals, and law enforcement. And we have seen the constant, relentless increase in property taxes, pricing regular people out of homes that they have owned for generations. Enough is enough. Today, I am proud to stand with my fellow commissioners to announce that Douglas County is taking a stand. We are pursuing home rule status to assert our right to govern ourselves in the best interests of our people. We will take control of our own future, push back against the overreach from Denver, and restore local decision-making where it belongs, with the people who actually live here. Home rule means putting our community first. It means standing up for the safety of our families, the rights of homeowners, and the protection of our hard-earned tax dollars. It means rejecting the idea that one-size-fits-all policies from politicians in Denver and the state should dictate how we live our lives. Colorado is at a crossroads. The values that built this state, hard work, independence, personal responsibility, are under attack. But we in Douglas County refuse to let those values disappear. We refuse to let lawlessness take root. We refuse to let radical policies drive families and businesses away. This is not just about one county. It's about a movement of Coloradans who love this state far too much to watch it be mismanaged into decline. We will fight for our communities, our safety, our homes, and our freedoms. And I can promise you, this is just the beginning. I want to thank you. God bless this county and God bless this great state, and introduce my friend and colleague, Commissioner George Teal.
Thank you, Commissioner Layden. Appreciate it, Abe. I'd like to introduce our other elected officials here in the county. Joining us today, Sheriff Darren Weekly, right here. DA, that's District Attorney, George Brockler. Assessor Damish, Toby Damish could not be here today. He took an ill-timed vacation with his family, but we do have Coroner Rayanne Brown. Thank you, Rayanne, and Treasurer Dave Gill. These are the elected officials here in Douglas County, and we stand united today to introduce the resolutions just passed to begin the path to home rule for Douglas County, Colorado. These individuals are not just faces in the crowd, they are the champions of local control, fierce advocates for the rights of our residents, our businesses, and our future. We are also joined today by a number of our municipal elected officials, council members. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to so many of the other leaders within our county who chose to join us today. Together, we are announcing that Douglas County has initiated the process to become a home rule county. Counties that have their own home rule charter are granted greater local control and authority and exemptions from some state laws. Unlike a statutory form of government which adheres to state-imposed rules and limitations, a home rule charter provides the flexibility to address local challenges more effectively and with more innovation. Some examples include bag fees, public health regulations, namely mask mandates, sanctuary community policies, and more. Today's resolution at our special business meeting starts the 9-step process to independence from some of these state laws. The next step is an election on June 24th. Please stay tuned for details on the election in the coming weeks. And next, I am introducing my friend and colleague, Commissioner Kevin Van Winkle.
Thank you so much, George and Chairman Layden. It's an honor to be here in this historic day for the people of Douglas County. Representing Highlands Ranch in Douglas County at the state capitol for many years, I saw firsthand how the leftist policies are driving our state, and from things like public safety, property taxes, affordability, up and down, the land use issues, so many issues that are really of local interest are now controlled by the state and moving in a direction that is not good for the people of Douglas County. One size does not fit all. In a time when we see so much bad policy, laws and increasing red tape coming from distant capitals, it's crucial, no matter who is in control of this capital or that one, to remember that the best decisions are made right here at home. The resolution to change Douglas County to a home rule county charter is a pivotal opportunity for residents to gain more control over their governance and daily lives. We must decisively step away from Denver's misguided leftist policies, which prioritize ideology over practicality, erode individual freedom, and burden our communities with unsustainable costs and increased crime. It's time to chart a course rooted in common sense and values that built this state. Thank you so much for being here, and God bless Colorado. God bless Douglas County. Let me turn it back to Commissioner George Teal.
Thank you, Kevin. I very much appreciate those great comments. And yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about doing. So any other elected officials? Sheriff, would you care to say a few words?
As the sheriff of Douglas County, we're very excited about this project. Douglas County is a safe place to live. It's a safe place to own a business. It's a safe place to raise a family. It's a safe place to send your kids to school. We believe that having Douglas County be a home rule county and having us have more control over the future of this county is in the best interest of the citizens that we serve. And this is not a political issue, whether you're left, whether you're right. It's a public safety issue. And no matter what side of the aisle you're on, everyone agrees that Douglas County is the model for a safe community. I appreciate this opportunity, and I'm looking forward to the future and getting this done. Thank you.
Coroner Brown, if you want to.
Well, Rayanne Brown, coroner. I would just like to really second everything that my fellow electeds, the 3 commissioners and the sheriff has stated. So in support of home rule, I think this will be beneficial for all the citizens of Douglas County, and we look forward to moving forward.
Treasurer Gill. We'll go George and then back to us.
Thank you. One of the less pleasant things in my job is talking to people who have been hurt by the high property taxes that we have to collect. One of the features that I think this will bring to us is the ability to help lower our property taxes. In the last cycle, Assessor Damisch tried to reduce our assessments, still within the limitations of the law. It was appealed to the state turned it down and reinstated them. So with any luck, with this move forward, and assuming it passes, it'll also help reduce our property taxes. Thank you.
D.A. Brockler.
My name's George Brockler. I'm the district attorney for the 23rd Judicial District, the newest one, the best one, Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln counties. I want to echo what the sheriff said. This should not be a partisan issue. We have always, I think, adhered to the notion that government is best that is closest to the people, and that's what this effort is about. There is a disconnect between the values and the priorities of Denver and some of the surrounding counties versus this county. I want to give you 2 examples. 2 bills within the last few weeks that have taken place in the legislature. Bills sponsored by Douglas County legislators. One was a bill that would have empowered law enforcement when they arrest someone who they have probable cause to believe is in the country illegally to merely communicate with ICE. That bill was sponsored by a state senator and a rep from Douglas County, and that bill was killed by Democrats from Denver and Boulder up in the Gold Dome. 2 weeks ago, a representative from Douglas County sponsored a bill that would have made the incredibly outrageous change to the law that would have mandated prison for child rapists. Did you know in Colorado you can get probation if you rape a child as long as you only do it one time? This legislator, Brandy Bradley, offered a bill that made complete and total sense, and it was killed by the Democrats up in Denver. Now, we can't fix those 2 things by becoming a home rule county, but what we can do is start the process of trying to have this county and its constituents better represented by the folks that are closest to them, the folks that live here. Here's what I know after only doing this job for about 30 years. Criminals don't know the law, but they know how the law works, and they know how the law is enforced and where it's enforced. And so anything we can do to empower this county to prioritize public safety, and they've done a great job so far, is going to make us safer and better. Now, for those of you that live down here, you probably know a ton of people that may choose to live or work in Denver, but they choose to live down here. I'll be honest with you, I don't know anybody that works in Douglas County that chooses to live in Denver. There's a reason for that. Home rule makes sense. I want and trust my neighbors' opinions on how we should be governed far more than I do anybody from Denver or Boulder. Thank you.
After you, sir.
Well, thank you so much to everybody again who has joined us here. This is just such an honor to be here at this historic moment. And with that, we wanted to open it up for any Q&A from the press. Noah.
Hey,
Hi.
So can you give us a timeline of how just this home rule community process began? I overheard that George Steele brought it up several years ago. Also, how did the Tri-County health system collapsing impact this decision as well?
Yeah, great question. And we have really had the benefit of a phenomenal county attorney, Jeff Garcia, who has been remarkable, one of the best legal minds in our community. And he's going to join us to share a little bit about that timeline.
Quarterback of the 49ers. I think the question
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll turn it over to Jeff, but no, to kind of try to hit your question right on the head. I campaigned on home rule as a part of my platform running in 2020 as county commissioner. I was serving on the Castle Rock Council at the time. Just like our other municipalities here in the county, Castle Rock is a home rule municipality. I had a clue what home rule could do for us. Not only that, but I grew up in Weld County. My whole childhood, I think Weld County went home rule in the 1970s. I was only born in 1968. So my whole time living in Greeley was spent hearing either my teachers, my parents, our friends talking about, well, you know, they could do that in Denver, but we're home rule here in Weld County. And don't get me wrong, I was a kid. I would be lying to say that I paid full attention to every one of those topics, but I have always been very comfortable with the idea of Douglas County moving to home rule. It's not a recent conversation. It is things that, golly, Monica, I can remember talking about it with your husband almost 20 years ago. Dave, you and I discussed it almost 20 years ago for the first time. So it's been an ongoing discussion that I think became thrown into sharp focus with COVID, with our experiences during the COVID pandemic, the creation of our own public health department, I think brought into sharp focus that we can do things like this here in Douglas County. We have George Brockler back as the once and future DA because, again, we knew that we could form our own judicial district and provide those base services even for our neighboring counties in Elbert and Lincoln County. So when it came a question of, is this the right time? I think it was the treasurer who said, you referenced back a couple of years ago, then probably not the right time. Now, absolutely the right time.
You want to take more on that, Attorney?
I can just mention that there are a number of statutory deadlines that need to be adhered to. And as everyone spoke about, that there is a need for this in the county, and we're trying to get this done as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
Additional questions? Yeah.
What laws or what regulations can be included in this? I heard that perhaps, sanctuary policy could be discussed and done differently in this county. Can that really be done and adjusted?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. You bet. So the county is actually sued about that very issue, the ability to cooperate and contract with ICE. And the state constitution permits us to have contracts with ICE and the DEA and other federal agencies. And state laws changed to prevent that. So our charter could make it so that we can contract with any federal law enforcement agency. So something as simple as communicating with ICE when we have someone detained could be done through a charter.
One of the laws is we've seen a couple laws come up with the legislature in terms of transit-oriented development in recent years. Those are laws that have had active exceptions for home rural counties in them. And now, granted, the law that went into effect last year only affects about 5 blocks of Highlands Ranch here in Douglas County. But those are examples of other land use oriented laws that have it written in. Representative Marshall has been very famous this year and past years for trying to pass a law that mandates counties over 70,000 in population go to 5 commissioners. The iteration from last year, and I believe the iteration from this year, had the exception for home rural counties being included into that. So every year there are laws written in this state that accept out home rural counties. Right now, we are not accepted out. If we take the step, we will be. Other questions?
Can you remind us when the election will be and just the process? What should our residents know when approaching the ballot box for this issue, and like what issues could mean a lot to them, compared to how you guys treat certain issues?
So June 24th will be the election. Every voter in Douglas County will have the opportunity to answer 2 questions. The first question is, should there be a Home Rule Charter Commission created? And then they'll have the opportunity to vote on 6 candidates for that commission in their own district and 3 at-large candidates. So when voters get that ballot, they need to vote for both a district and at-large.
And how close has the county worked with, let's say, Weld County, even maybe Pitkin for that matter, on how they've approached being a home rule county? It's going to be the first home rule county perhaps in Colorado in over 40 years.
Yeah. Over the last 4 years, we've attempted to work closely with our colleagues in Pitkin and Weld. The only problem is a lot of our first questions were questions of how do we initiate? How do we get going? Our colleagues in Pitkin County and Weld County are distinctly unhelpful because none of them were elected officials at the time home rule was passed. And actually, like us, we are a county of people who have moved here within the last 30 years. It really is the same case in Pitkin and Weld County. Our colleagues on the Weld County board, actually they're not always long time residents of Weld County who remember a time when they made that transition to home rule. And oh, by the way, I think I was 7 when Weld County went, and I got gray hair. I mean, it's It's not like it was done yesterday. In terms of how, what is the experience of being a home rule county like? Varying. I mean, Pitkin County, I heard from Commissioner Chandler. She loves it because Chandler Henry, because she loves it because it allows them to do more environmental controls than is otherwise allowed under Colorado state law. I don't know that that exactly matches our philosophies. When I talk to our Weld County friends, quite frankly, are usually just not aware of some of the challenges we face as a statutory county because it's just not an issue for them because the regulation in question, they are exempted from. So it's sometimes been a frustrating situation engaging with them because, well, they don't have the problems we have because they're already home rule. Sure.
So I know there was some talk that this shouldn't be a partisan, a left or right issue, but would you be doing this if the state legislature had a different makeup? You seem frustrated that none of the priorities of the county are being respected in the Gulf.
Yeah. Go ahead, Abe, because I think we have a little bit of a different perspective sometimes.
We do, but I'll tell you where we're lockstep is that's exactly right. It's nonpartisan when you think about the top 4 issues facing Coloradans, and that's property taxes, homelessness, crime, and immigration. Those are issues that citizens statewide are deeply concerned about. The fact that some elected leaders are willing to step up and address those issues for citizens and others aren't is why we're here today. But we believe we're reflecting the will of really all Coloradans, and certainly those who live here in Douglas County. Additional questions? Okay, well, we do have a business meeting to run here. We're a little bit past due. We'll take one last call for questions from anybody. Okay, otherwise, thank you very much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.